Welcome back, family, to a very special, very different episode of the Back Issue Book Club. This week, I was in Richmond, Virginia all weekend attending Galaxycon, so I didn't have time to finish all 10 issues of God Country. I got through about 4, I think.
And as a result, since I knew that you weren't going to be able to finish it, I didn't even start it yet.
Yeah, Rich is 2 hours to go. Shit, let's do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of guy.
And you're like texting me like, "Are we recording or not?" I'm like, I got 3 more pages. Wait.
I don't know. We'll see how fast I can read them.
And meanwhile, I'm like, if you would stop texting me, I could read.
Oh my!
And you're like, well, if you had read them any time in the last 7 days, this wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. Are we married? Kind of sounds like we're married.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
All right. So I figured, let's not skip a week on the podcast. So we have some, we've got content. We can make a video out of it. And there's some news with some actors and some rumors. And I figured I would also just talk about like my experience at Galaxycon too. So
yes. Which I haven't been to a major con in like 20 years long time, other than Dragon Con, which is not just comics. It's like it's a sci-fi thing. But I haven't been to a major convention. Sheesh. Wow. Isaac Asimov and Adam West were the guests. Okay.
I mean, that's kind of cool. But
yeah, I think it was somewhere around 1987, 86 was the last time I went to a major con.
Yeah, when I was 0 or -1.
Yeah, by the way, just a little side note. I'm about to turn the speed limit, 55, and I get a letter in the mail today. I didn't open it, but it says on the envelope, "Happy birthday, Richard," and it's from AARP. And I'm like, you. Don't remind me that I'm getting old. I feel it every day.
Yeah, you get 2 of those. You get the one when you turn 18. I remember getting a sweet Gillette razor with the selective service registration. Well, congratulations on turning 18. Here's a razor, and here's the draft stuff. And then AAA or not AAA, AARP.
Yeah.
For that age. So, well, what should we start with?
Let's go with the show, man. Go with the show.
On with the show. Okay. So we got 2-day tickets for Saturday and Sunday because Friday I was working.
We being you and your wife?
My wife and I, and also my sister-in-law and her husband.
Okay, cool.
We rented a little cottage on the outskirts, in the suburbs of Richmond, because it was really affordable compared to a hotel in Richmond.
What'd you do with the kids? Doggy daycare or something? Or
yes, they were at the kennel over the weekend.
Is it fine if you about 5 or 6 pounds of kibble? You just pour it into a bowl. They're good.
Mm-hmm. And the hamster dispenser, like with the ball water bearing thing. No, my in-laws and my laws. What do you? I guess regular parents. I don't know.
Yeah.
Both sets of parents are local, so thank gods they were there. They gave us the weekend. So
awesome.
I did see some strollers there and some little kids, and I was like, I could never. Not with a 1 and a 3-year-old. It is just. I'll get into why, but so.
Well, it depends. If the stroller was made to look like Grogu's thing, and you were cosplaying the 1-year-old,
that would be neat.
Yeah,
yeah. But the rumor. So first thing we do, I go find the third-party CGC witnessing facilitator table because
Gotcha.
CGC was not there. They were in, I want to say Orlando or maybe WonderCon. I forget where, but I guess a bigger con. CBCS was there officially, but I'm not talking to him right now. So it was One Stock Comic Shop that was doing the facilitating, and made sure I was a little worried because there was only like 4 guys there.
right.
Like in their whole booth, and I was like, this is gonna suck trying to like corral these witnesses and stuff. And It kind of did, but it wasn't their fault other than lack of employees. But the first thing I did was get my Daredevil comic and get in the Charlie Cox line.
Nice.
And I was probably, I don't know, that picture that I showed you initially. Let me share.
With all the people in the room?
That was when I first got into the Charlie Cox line. And I was like, damn, this is a lot. Yeah, it is for now. So here. So I was here, and Charlie Cox was... I don't know if I can zoom into this, but...
Is everybody there online, or...
Okay, so first of all, my biggest gripe with this convention is... Tell me if you can distinguish any lines there, or if it just looks like a pit at a concert.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, so like I see people. I can't tell if they're online for. Is that Shatner?
Shatner on the far right.
Yep.
Charlie Cox.
D'Onofrio. Rhys Davies. Okay.
This convention severely lacked
organization
and line management.
Yeah.
It was a friggin' nightmare. You can kind of see on the floor over here these pink tape lines here.
Yeah.
They were like a foot wide. And they were like, everybody in the lines, please. And then once you got to the, when there was 20 feet left between you and the celebrity, the line started serpentining back and forth.
Yeah.
So it was a straight line and then a serpentine at the last 20 feet. And they were a foot wide. So we were like,
yeah.
Like
speaking for you and me, we're not a foot wide.
No. I had to be sideways the whole time, facing the front. Like I couldn't. And I mean, Saturday was so hot. There was a rumor going around. I don't know if people were just making it up, but they were saying they oversold Saturday. So I don't know, but anyway, we got in line at like 10:45 a.m. For Charlie Cox here, and it's going. Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio have a Q&A at like 12 or 12:30.
Oh.
So I'm in line and they go away and I stay in line and I was like, okay, shit, the Q&A should be an hour. And they come back in about an hour and 15.
Right.
And apparently they came back early. Poor Charlie was eating a sandwich as he was emerging from the curtain again because he felt bad that his line was so long.
Well, that shows that he's a good guy at least. Yeah,
he had stood up and looked down and he was like, oh, wow. Or something like that. I could tell he was like surprised on his face. So I proceeded to wait another hour. And then, of course, he has a photo op.
I hope you were wearing Depends, man.
He comes back.
Oh,
and at this point, I'm almost to the serpentine. I stood in that fucking line for damn near 5 hours.
Just for Cox?
Just for Charlie Cox.
Wow. You just really want Cox badly.
Yes, I do. And I did. I finally got up there. Or I got close, and I was like... My wife was with me the whole time. And I was like, oh, fuck. The Witness.
Like shit. He got me free. I forgot about it, too, yeah.
The fucking Witness. Shit. I'm not CBCSing this. So Katie runs. She goes. She goes out and she runs. And first of all, if you got to go to a con, go with a buddy or a significant other because it is essential to tag in and out of line. Because the amount of hours I was there, she got me a burger to eat. She got me a Gatorade to drink. It's essential.
Yeah.
Anyway, and also if you're getting signed books like this.
Yeah.
So she runs over, gets the guy, and I was like, oh my God, are they going to make it? Are they going to make it? And they get there, and it's taking a while. And I was like, fuck. And the witness is there, and I was like, sorry. It's hard to judge. And he was like, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay. Whew. And I finally get up there, give him my $100 to the handler, and
so you don't have to buy the tickets in advance. You have to give them the cash right there.
Yes.
Okay.
cash, and got up to him, and he was the sweetest guy ever, and I was so happy. Like,
Oh, cool.
It really softened a lot of that for me. He was like, "Oh, hey, what's your name?" and like asked me what my name was, and which for some
He's
reason
got a
wasn't
British accent?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
totally British. Got a great little smile, and his whole face. He's one of those people where the whole face smiles, and
Yep.
asked me what my name was, what I'd like him to sign, and he signed Charlie Cox on the Daredevil silhouette, but then he wrote DD under it in red, and I was like, "Oh, cool, thank you." And he's like, "Are you gonna have Vincent sign it?" And I was like, "Oh, you know it?" And he was like, "Oh, it's brilliant." And I was like, "Oh, cool."
I can't hear that word without thinking about that old beer commercial. Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, and then he was like, "Thanks for coming out, appreciate it." So, that was it. It was all those hours led up for those 25 30 seconds. So, but
But then you had to. How long did you have to wait online for D'Onofrio as well, or they just jumped you over to the other table, or what?
no. So I had to surrender my comic to the comic people, and I walked back to their booth with them to like write down the paperwork, and then how did they?
Go stand online, and they'll bring the comic to you when you get
Yes.
to D'Onofrio.
Yes, yeah, that's what they did.
Jeez.
Because the chain of custody has to exist, and I couldn't get D'Onofrio the next day because Charlie Cox was there only Saturday, but everybody else was there Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
But I couldn't. They close out their comic submissions every night, so I couldn't pull it out a comic that I gotten signed Saturday to get it signed again Sunday, which kind of didn't make sense to me. But
I don't understand that either because I've seen comics CGC yellow label signed by so and so on this date and so on this date, and you'll see like one day right after the other.
I agree. I don't know if it's something with their accounting or there's a picture of Shatner.
Cool.
He was just like in and out. He came in for 30 minutes, went out for 30 minutes, came in 30 minutes. He just kept going back and forth. And his line was not that long. I was surprised.
Well, over the past 50 years, I think everybody's gotten a Shatner signature.
Well, could be that, yeah. Okay, here's a little tiny picture. There's Charlie's head looking down. Oop. That's next door when I was in the Serpentine, close to him. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Right.
There's Charlie's face. Charlie.
Cool. So, did you get a different book signed by D'Onofrio?
Same book. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm doing just these two signatures today. So I went back, and mind you, at this point, my right thigh is numb because I have a nerve issue, I guess.
Right, okay.
And
I misunderstood. I thought you meant you were going to D'Onofrio the next day, and then you're going to have to get a different book. No, you wound up waiting on the line again the same day.
Next door to Charlie Cox, yes, to Vincent.
Boom.
So
It would have been great if you knew that. You could have had, like, your wife stand on one line while you stood.
yeah, but then I'd have to coordinate two separate witnesses, and it's just been like, I don't know. But we went into Vincent D'Onofrio's, and thankfully he was only like 2.5 hours. Which if I hadn't gone through Charlie Cox, I would have been like, ugh, 2.5 hours. But 2.5 hours was whatever.
Yeah, that was an easy one. Yeah. That's like watching a preview after watching Lord of the Rings trilogy or something. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Boy, his head is shiny.
I was pleasantly surprised, but I shouldn't be because I think they're filming right now. For Born Again.
I was just saying, it's so shiny.
Yeah.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
He had a trucker hat he was wearing whenever he walked, and then once he sat down, he took it off. But he was way more reserved. He was nice when I got up to him. He signed his name, and then he wrote Kingpin under it, and I got him to do
cool. You got remark on both of them.
Yeah, and I got him to. So Charlie did it in red, and he did it in the white paint.
Nice.
So they both really pop. I didn't even think about it. I should have taken pictures of them before I submitted them finally. But I didn't think of it. But
You'll show it to us when you get it back. That's all.
Yeah. So that was very exciting, and I was like, oh, lock those two down. This was like the keystone of the reason I wanted to come here. These two.
Yeah.
So I got it locked in, and then
Then you went back and collapsed.
I did go to. I will give Galaxycon this. They had a lot of nice of those like at weddings. They have those 8-chair circular tables.
Okay.
They're common, pretty common. They had a lot of those on the side, so there was plenty of seating. So kudos. It's not always the case at the other cons I've gone to. So we went and sat down, just to get a fucking break on my feet, because I'm over 400 pounds, so it's a lot. And then I saw we were getting sort of winding down. It was probably around, I don't know, 4:00 or so at that time, and I noticed that Jonathan Frakes and Gates McFadden were next to each other, and they weren't too busy, like 5 people.
And you had that Star Trek book that you wanted to start getting signatures of the next generation.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So I busted that bad boy out, and I went up to Jonathan Frakes, and I didn't really have anything to say to him because I just have always enjoyed his character, and but I've never, I'm not like, oh, you changed my life or anything. So I just asked him to sign on his chest, and told him, I'm working on getting all you guys, and he was like, oh, huh. And then my wife was like, you're the first, like, I don't know, to try to like zhuzh up the conversation.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, and then he was just done. So I was like, all right, thank you. And I give him $60 or whatever it was.
Yeah, $60 for 10 seconds of time, man. Don't you all wish we could make that kind of money?
Jesus, plus whatever so we were doing the math, my wife and I, and of course we don't know how many people there were, but we were guessing probably 500 for Charlie in his line.
Yeah.
And
many of them, I'm sure, had more than one item signed.
Exactly. A lot of them had like a shit ton of these people have little wagons of Funko Pops.
Yep. That's why the lines go so slow.
I have never seen so many Funko Pops in my life. But anyway, yeah. So if one signature is $100, I mean, he would have easily pulled in $500,000 right there. Easily. But anyway.
Wait. So he's signed $100.
500 times 100 is 500,000, right?
No.
What is it?
50,000.
Oh, well, math.
500.
You made more than me.
500 times 1,000 is 500,000.
Yeah, that one just used English to figure that one out, huh? Whatever. There wasn't much blood in my brain at the time.
But if a lot of people had one, people had multiples. On average, just say 2 per person. It's still $100,000.
Yeah, and not to mention photo ops on top of that or whatever. So
yep.
So I was like, all right, whatever. He's 70 and he's probably like done for the day. So I'm not going to hold it against him that he wasn't like super friendly. Jonathan Frakes, that is.
Yeah.
So I mosey over to Gates McFadden, who looks stunning. She's 74. I didn't know this,
wow.
But she looks fantastic. And this guy in front of me, he's got this like glamour shot from 92 or, when the show was on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like all soft light or whatever. And he was like, can you sign it my first MILF or something like that? And I was
come
like,
on.
No, please don't. What? And she was like, MILF, what is that? And he was like, oh, you don't have, I don't want to tell you if you don't know. And like, she looks over to her handler who was with her, and her handler was like, and she was like, oh. And she did not like it.
Yeah.
But she was a total trooper and kept it
professional,
but like also not putting him down, the guy who asked for it.
Okay.
She kept it like, oh, maybe, I don't know. That's a little extreme. Maybe we could do, something else. Let's see if we can do something else. Like something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, you're sweet. That's really nice because, I don't know. She deals with these people all the time. So that's incredible of her. And they ended up, settling on like my first crush or something like that.
That's cool.
Yeah. So then I get up to her and I was like, how am I going to follow that? And I asked her, I was like, hey, I'm just, working on getting all your guys' signature on this. And do you mind please signing across your chest? Because that's like the one open, like, I don't want her to sign on her face.
Yeah.
And then you can't see anything below like the upper belly of any of the characters on the cover. So it's basically her boobs. That's where you sign it. And so she was like, oh, now you're first the guy in front of you, and now you're asking me to sign on her boobs. And I was like, no, Jonathan just signed on his chest too. So it's not that.
Yeah, I really just want it all over your chest. No.
Yes. Yeah. And she was like, all right. I don't think she was being serious. And then as we were leaving, my wife was like, I love your earrings. And she was like, oh, thank you. So left on a good note.
You know who would have signed with if she was still alive? My first MILF, Carrie Fisher.
Oh, is that right?
Oh,
is she
man.
like notorious for being cool like that?
Oh yeah, jeez. They when they were filming the Star Wars trilogy, when she was in it, George Lucas would not allow her to wear a bra because there are no bras in space. So they had to tape her boobs up to make sure they didn't bounce all over the place as she was running through the scenes. And at the end of the day, she would have a competition on which other actor got to pull the tape off her boobs.
This is in like Return of the Jedi when she was wearing the clad?
Oh,
the
bikini?
Yeah. When was this?
No, Star Wars 77, Empire, just the white robes. Anything that she had to wear, there were no bras. So
Weird. Well, good for her taking it in stride.
yeah, so I'm sure that she would have had no problem doing that. So.
Oh, one thing I forgot about Vincent D'Onofrio. When I got to him, I was like, you are terrifying in the best way possible. You're so good. And he was like, oh, thank you. And there's a little bit of like his personality is in Kingpin. Like he's how Kingpin is like reserved when he's like being normal is not too different than him.
Quiet
so
and in control.
And that made it even creepier a little bit. And I was like, oh, thank you, appreciate you. And he was like, thank you. And my wife was like, I knew you before he did. I knew you from Law and Order. And he was apparently on Law and Order in like 1992 or something.
Yep.
Some old. And he laughed. He liked that. He thought that was funny. So.
And I would have said, and I knew you when you had long hair and you were a car mechanic or a tow truck driver and mistaken for Thor. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was pretty much the end of day one. That was a long day.
Please tell me that day two was no signatures, no lines, and just enjoying the show.
I wish. Day two actually had the most fun person I met, though, which I didn't expect going in. Okay. So I went at 11 o'clock. 11's when they mostly come out, even though the floor opens around 10. Mm-hmm. So I went and got in Steve Downes' line, which is the voice of Master Chief in the Halo game series.
Never played it, but okay.
Yeah. He, by the way, isn't this an awesome picture?
Yes.
I don't know. I had to take a picture of that. That was at dinner that first night. But I got in line. He came out. He was like, "How y'all doing?" And there was like 20 of us in the Serpentine part only. And then he came out into the Serpentine, looked at his handler, and she took like a selfie of all of us together. It was kind of cool, or a picture of all of us together. So that was cool. And then he finally got up to him. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too bad. And he had this like olive green paint marker, which matches like his armor color. Signed it.
Right.
And at the bottom, he added Master Chief number 117, which is he's Spartan 117 in the game. But he was really friendly. He thanked me for coming out, asked me what my name was, what I did, and so that was a fun interaction. Not too much more than that to add to that, but the next one was the biggest one for me. John Rhys Davies.
Known for
No. What's that?
known for
He played Gimli in the Lord of the Rings series and Salah in the Indiana Jones series.
I mean, I knew that this was your grail going in, but I wanted you to say that in the podcast.
Yeah. By the way, I had Steve Downs sign the first appearance of Master Chief in comics.
Oh, cool.
Did mention that. Yeah. So
Did you get the witness, or that was just for you?
Yes. Nope. I got witness on all of them. It was very stressful. But yeah. So we get in line right after that for John Rhys Davies,
Okay.
and he's coming out at 1:00. So we get in his line at like, I don't know, 11 or something stupid, and we're waiting in line, and his line takes forever because he makes it personal for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like that baseball player you were talking about.
Frank Robinson. Yep.
Yeah. It was hard, but understandable because you could see him interacting with all these people, you know, posing for funny pictures and doing a line from the movie, singing a little line or something.
Look, I mean, I get it. I mean, the thing with the Frank Robinson, that was a day of hell getting autographs, and his was the longest line, and it was my greatest memory of the show.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, I concur with that in this case as well. I looked high and low for in an Indiana Jones book that had Sala on the cover in some capacity. Couldn't find one. So I ended up getting just Raiders of the Lost Ark #1, which is the first appearance of Indiana Jones in a regular sized comic book.
no
And
Lord of the
since he's in
Rings?
there's very little. Surprisingly. I think it's because the Tolkien family is pretty like protective of their IP. But I liked him in Indiana Jones better anyway.
Okay.
So I got the first issue of Raiders of the Lost Ark because he was in that movie, and he has one of my favorite lines in that movie is when they're together and Indiana Jones throws up a date ready to catch it in his mouth, and Sala grabs it and he points out the monkey that's passed away because he ate the poison on the dates, and he's like, "Bad dates."
Yep.
Bad dates.
So I've been planning this out for hours as I approach him. Katie and I, as we've been in line, we weren't going to get a picture with him, but we saw how much fun he was having with people, how people were blushing when they were taking pictures with him, how, you know, he was like kissing the hand of, you know, little girls as like their princesses, and
Oh, man.
it was amazing. He was being such an awesome guy. And so we were like, you know, fuck it. We're going to get the combo. We're going to get the signature and the selfies. And I'm very happy that we did. So this is, when you get the selfies, the guy's just like, he just sits there and spams the picture button.
Right.
But
One of them's got to come out right.
yeah, pretty much. So here are all the pictures.
Wow, he got thin.
Oh, wow. I'm also pretty beefy.
No, but he got thin. You can see it in his face.
And this whole so So this whole time, you don't see this when you're waiting in line because his hands are behind your back. But he starts tickling you. He starts tickling both of us, and that's why we've got like genuine smiles going there, because he's actually tickling our like backs. And you can see his face. He's like grunting a little bit. He's like, "Yeah, I've got him now. I've got him now." It's so. He is so awesome, man.
Oh,
I mean,
man,
look
I
at
love
that.
both your smiles. That is amazing. You better blow that up and put it on the wall, man.
And then he's got the most genuine smile too. You know.
Yeah, he's loving it.
It was just so good. So good. And then let's see here. Is that it? No. And then he's like,
I think that's the best smile I've ever seen on your face.
It might have been. I mean, it's.
That's the happiest I've ever seen you. And that's it. He
then
kicked you away, and he's taking your wife. That's it.
Yep.
Come to Hollywood
Yep.
with me.
And I was like, what? Oh, look at that. He's like, It was so good, man. It was so fun. He's smelling my wife.
That looks like a nuzzle.
Yeah, it's a nuzzle. I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, yeah. I don't think anything of it.
No. And you like my Miss Minutes earring that I made for her?
Oh, cool. Yeah, I see it. With the hand and everything.
Look at that. I was really proud of that. Anyway, he was like, at this point, he was like, "Oh, I'm sure you want some too, don't you?" So he started over here. He was like, "You're a fine young man. Look at you. Look at your beard. Look at you." He started. So, yeah, man. I mean, I kind of got tears in my eyes a little bit right now, even just talking about it. Like,
yeah. I'm
just
tearing up a little bit, man, because I'm happy for you.
Yeah. It was.
Of all the people that were going to be at this show, you were so excited about John Rhys-Davies. That was the one that you were like, I've got to see him. I've got to see him. If everybody else canceled out, you'd still go just for him. And I see on the bottom of the screen, what do you got, like 40, 50 photographs?
I told you, yeah, the guy's just like, you can make stop motion out of this.
That is great. Absolutely great.
You really could. Wow, look at this.
So this is your wife's first big con as well, right?
No, we've done all the cons together. She is amazing. Self plug. She's big into the art stuff, and she like clearly she likes Loki and.
Well, yeah, she's got a variant T-shirt and Miss Minutes earrings.
Yep.
Is it earring or earrings?
It's ear. I actually made it's a mismatched pair. I don't know if you could see, but right here is a little Loki with a helmet.
Okay, cool.
And over here is a Miss Minutes. She's fantastic though, because not only is she my CGC witness grabber, but she does it all with me, and she's not particularly into comics or anything, but she loves that I love it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But she loves the art stuff, so she gets a kick out of going through Artist Alley, going through all like Harry Potter stuff, just all of it. She just takes inspiration from a lot of it, so it's a nice like yin yang, makes a perfect circle for us to go together. So even at Baltimore Comic Con, which is mostly comics,
I only see one problem with this photograph.
I'm not wearing anything fun.
Timo Hana shirt, maybe. Hats.
Yeah,
dude.
I didn't. Yeah, yeah.
What's John Rhys-Davies' tie? What is that?
That's a great question. I was hoping it looks kind of 90s abstract artish.
Okay, I didn't know if it was something specific. No, I see a woman's face at the top.
Yeah.
Two women.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a Picasso kind of thing or what, but
I really like it. That's what.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, that
if you meet him again, ask him where he shops for his ties.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean that was it. That was a blast. And then we came home, right? Like after we met with him, we hung out with a wrestler that we watched on TV a little bit, and that was cool. But nothing compared to this one. So
No, that it sounds like you had a blast, and your legs are probably killing you from standing on line.
yes, and while I was in the John Rhys Davies line, I purchased a telescoping stool.
Yep.
That can hold up to 500 pounds. So I got that. I'm good. And I'll be using that at the next one I go to. Very much.
So did that help? Because I've actually thought about getting those myself, but
I'll let you know. It just came today. So
okay.
Yeah. So
I mean, when I'm standing running machines, I'm actually just standing there for 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. And I wouldn't mind having something I could just like lean back, get some of the weight off my ankles.
yeah, the one I have is like a 10 by 10 square for the seat part, and then it's just like a
Inch or feet?
12 by 12 inch. What'd I say? Feet?
No, you said 10 by 10. I went inches or feet?
Oh, inches.
Okay.
Yeah. And it comes with like a, I don't know, 1.5 2 inch thick pad too. So that's kind of nice.
Oh, cool. All right, so I know we've been chatting for a while here, but let's talk about some other things, if that's okay.
Yeah, what's going on here? When I was there, you messaged me. You're like, Jonathan Majors.
He's in trouble.
What's
Yeah.
happening?
So, all right. I haven't heard any more since the original first day, but apparently he got arrested for assault. His girlfriend had like bruises and choke marks.
Ooh.
Yeah, and she was admitted to the hospital. And they arrested him, and then he was released. Then the next day, I heard that they were taking a cab back and got into an argument because she wanted to look at his cell phone for messages, like, who are you getting messages from? He wouldn't show her. They got into a little altercation in the cab. She went home. Then the next day, she went to the hospital, and it's standard procedure that they had to arrest him. But you now got a witness in the cab driver.
Yeah.
So I mean, if there was more permanent, if it was something that really could, fire him for, I think that would have been really getting blown up now in the news. However, there were a couple of people that have worked with Majors in the past that have tweeted, "I'm finally glad somebody is standing up for his abusive behavior. He's always been like this. He's a sociopath." And I'm like, whoa. So I don't know if he actually assaulted her or what's going to happen as far as that's concerned. It seems like it's quieted down a little bit, which, I don't know, maybe just people are focusing on school shootings today.
Ugh. Yeah.
I know, it's sick. But even if he's not guilty of this, it sounds like he's been kind of a jerk to work with in the past, which is surprising that Marvel didn't vet him better.
That is a surprise. I'm on Vox.com here. It says, yet charges may just be the beginning of further allegations about Majors' behavior. After his arrest, 2 different directors spoke publicly about what they called Majors' quote, emotionally violent / professionally abusive history.
Yeah, they didn't do it anonymously. They put their names on it. Yeah.
That's when you do that, that's kind of like, all right, there's no reason to put your name on something and lie.
Right.
Like that.
And I mean, I know they changed the person who played Thanos and the person who played Red Skull, but those were both heavily make-up people. This is not the same. So if they have to change who's going to play Kang, that's going to be a little bit more difficult, I think. Although Rhodey, they did it pretty well.
Yeah, I think they should not be afraid of that. If they find out that he did, indeed do all this stuff, like, we can take it. I feel like personally, like, whatever. It's a new character.
Look,
not a new character. It's the same character, a new actor.
I liked Terrence Howard as Rhodey.
Me too.
But who's the one that plays him now?
Don Cheadle. I
like him so much more.
Oh, I know, right? He's like my That's my war machine.
Yeah.
You know,
And
like I would love to have him sign that for me. That would be amazing.
yeah, I mean, if I saw Terrence Howard, I wouldn't say, "Oh man, I'm so glad we replaced you." No, dude, you were really good. You were really good. He's better for this role, and there's other things that you could do that wouldn't be right for him. So
Yeah.
So we'll find out how this plays going forward. I know there's probably a lot of people still at the House of Mouse that are, can we ever get this thing rolling properly? I don't know.
Do you seriously? Do you think they ever contingency plan for, like, obviously you can't plan for specific crimes, but like, do you think they're ever like, all right, if we need to cut the cord, we have a backup?
I think I'm going to be morbid here. When am I not? I think after Chadwick Boseman, they have contingency plans for everything, because they didn't expect him to just, oh damn, he died. I mean,
Because he was keeping it to himself.
Yeah, what if Jonathan Majors got into a car accident?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy that played in Fast and the Furious, Paul Walker.
Paul Walker. Yeah.
You get something like that where your franchise personals and boom. Okay, now what? They have to now have contingency plans for it's about everything. They might not be good plans, but they're plans.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well,
jumping on to the next topic, we've got Secret Invasion.
Ooh, yes.
Getting
the
its
surprise
dates.
announcement.
Yeah, well, there was so much, like it's being delayed. We don't know until when, indefinitely. Maybe they're going to cancel it. I think Disney Plus, they just came forward. Disney just said, all right, just give them a damn date, so just shut up.
Tell them already.
June 21st.
Which I was like, ooh, that's not that far.
No, it's not. And isn't that like close to Father's Day or something like that?
Yeah, I think Father's Day is like I think Father's Day is like June 14th or something, whatever the Saturday is around the teens.
Yeah, that sounds right.
17th.
All right, so the first Wednesday after Father's Day, you get your present.
Yay! I hope it's good, man. I really do.
I
really,
think
really
it will
do.
be. I think, but then again, I've thought a lot of other things were going to be, and they didn't quite live up to what we were hoping. I mean, Multiverse of Madness, I think, could have been so much better.
Yeah.
She-Hulk could have been so much better. Miss Marvel could have been so much better.
I was on Reddit the other day reading about stuff, and it's amazing how different of an opinion I have than some people.
Yeah.
Like they were arguing that Miss Marvel was one of the better products. That's like one of the top 2 things that's come out in Phase 4.
Look, there are people out there that like Last Jedi. I don't know what the hell they were.
I know. I just have to check myself, like, because sometimes I can get an echo chamber in my own head, even.
Yeah.
Not to mention with you, just because. I don't know, but.
So I got some rumors, which may be serious spoilers.
Spoils.
Yes.
I'll put in the siren here with the warning sounds and spoilers things.
So yes, this is concerning the Star Wars universe.
The Filoniverse.
The Filoniverse, yes, definitely the Filoniverse. This is all Filoni here. Filoni. Well, the first one I'll say is this is something that Mark Hamill has had a problem with the episode 7, 8, and 9, and they're going to try to do something. They're trying to do something to correct it for the fans.
Okay.
One of Mark Hamill's biggest gripes about episodes 7, 8, and 9 is that there was no reunion scene with Luke, Leia, and Han. That there was a golden opportunity to have all 3 of them together, and it didn't happen.
Right.
So what they're discussing, and they're going to see if they can do, is possibly in the Ahsoka series, maybe in Ahsoka season 2, but they're trying to make it happen. A scene where about 20 years after Return of the Jedi, They'll have to de-age Mark Hamill a few years. They'll have to de-age Harrison Ford a bit more.
A handful of years, yeah.
Yes. They'll have to see if they can get Harrison Ford. Because he doesn't want to have to do anything with the Star Wars universe anymore. But he might for this. I don't know.
Is that what he said?
Well, he wanted to get killed off back in Return of the Jedi. He wanted out. He was so glad. Yeah, he wanted... that's why he was so... The only reason he would do 7, 8, and 9 is he said, if you kill me in 7, I'll do it.
Wow.
So, yeah, he didn't want to do it, but he might just for one scene. If not, they'll have to CGI it or have some other actor play it. And, of course, they're going to have to use either archived footage or completely new technology for deepfake for Princess Leia, for Carrie Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
But, as Hamill said, it won't be exactly what you want, but hopefully it's something that will at least represent what you guys wanted as fans. This was discussed with Filoni, Favreau, the cast, crew, all at a round table about what could we do.
Oh.
Right, so this is not Mike Zero, I believe was the name of the website that I was watching. He gets a lot of information from behind the scenes. So
cool.
And I believe that this has actually been released by Hamill as the information, that this is what they're discussing. Another thing that they're apparently Filoni and Favreau went to Disney and said, we want to bring back Gina Carano.
Interesting.
Of course, Kathleen Kennedy is exploding and saying absolutely not, absolutely not. But I think what they're doing is they're saying that they want to have Gina Carano maybe make a cameo appearance and then bring her back slowly as maybe some kind of a modified character, like enhanced character with a brand new gun that nobody's ever seen before, and that's great marketing. You can sell these guns. Disney went, it's like when I say, like, FOOD in front of the dogs. You're like, huh?
You're right.
Ears all perked up. Merchandising? So
right.
But I think the only person that's against it is Kathleen Kennedy. So, now serious spoilers now for the Ahsoka series. Disney is already filming season 2. They're working on getting the approval for season 3. Disney officials, executives, are calling Ahsoka their new home run. This is going to be the cornerstone of the Star Wars universe, replacing Mandalorian as the most important. And Filoni apparently was very bothered by the Obi-Wan series when Obi-Wan broke open Darth Vader's helmet. Kind of copying what Ahsoka did in Star Wars Rebels.
Okay.
So he said, "Well, we'll show you how it's done right. They're going to do a flashback, and they're going to have a live action battle between Ahsoka and Darth Vader at Mustafar in the Sith Temple. They're going to redo that as live action.
Cool.
And they're going to do the Realm Between Worlds, where Ezra pulled her in live action.
Oh, the place where he goes, Ashoka.
Yes. They're going to do that in live action as well.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to see a live action. And, the battle where Ahsoka does cut him, they're going to be showing the droids, medical droids, try to piece him back together again. I'm stuttering here a bit, because I'm trying to make sure I get the words right. If you go back to the Empire Strikes Back, where Return of the Jedi, where the Emperor is shocking Darth Vader right before he throws him down the pit.
Yeah.
And you look at it almost like shows him as an X-ray. You can see a skeleton.
Yeah. I remember that as a kid.
And if you go frame by frame, it doesn't just show his spinal column. There's actually like additional pieces of metal connecting his head to his spine, like running down it.
Oh, interesting.
What Filoni is saying is that this is going to... You're going to see the medical droids installing this in a very gruesome way. This might not be a good scene that you can watch. Let's put it that way.
Oh wow, I see it. I'm looking it up, and it's like he's got like some metal cylinders and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I had no idea.
And did you ever see X-Men Origins Wolverine?
No. Okay.
Where he gets the adamantium encased, like injected into him to lace the skeleton and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's extreme pain. Actually, pain to the point that it would kill some people. Okay.
Mm.
And what Logan does to try to focus away from it is he thinks about the woman that he's in love with.
Jean.
Not at that time, no. What do you call it?
Yuriko.
No, it's... If you didn't see the movie, it doesn't matter. Because she's only in that movie.
Oh, okay.
They're going to be... Filoni and Favreau were both really inspired by that scene, so they're going to show Anakin during this medical procedure in excruciating, screaming pain. And then his mind is going to drift off, and he's going to be thinking about and hearing Padme.
Annie,
Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie?
Wow.
You've been hit by a smooth emperor.
That'll be interesting. Wow.
Getting all these Bing pop-ups? What is this? Stop.
You've got mail.
Yeah, no kidding. So that's the information that I've been getting. Ahsoka is going to be the big heavy hitter going forward.
Is there any reason to believe that Rosario Dawson will not play Ahsoka going forward?
No, she signed on for multi-projects.
Okay.
Yep.
Good for her.
I think they'll have to find somebody else to play her for a younger version for flashbacks.
And will she still be playing Night Nurse in Daredevil? I liked her in that show.
Yeah. I hope so. Probably.
I hope so too. She did a good job. Night Nurse 1 is expensive, by the way.
Oh, yes, it is. Did you get her to sign it?
It's like, hey, could you sign this?
It's my first MILF.
Oh, my God.
And tomorrow we're going to watch, we got Mandalorian and Bad Batch, the Bad Batch finale. But Filoni, the only thing he says about tomorrow's episode of The Mandalorian is it is a completely different tone than the first episodes of the season.
So that means it could be even more serious? Or
really goofy.
Pod racing or something.
Well, we're at the halfway point, right? We've watched episode 4. There's only 8 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people are like, oh, I don't really like the way it's gone the first 4 episodes. It seems like a quest. If people think back to season 2, I didn't like the first 4 episodes of season 2. It was the last 4 episodes that really made the season amazing. So I'm not jumping into the Mandalorian sucks vat as quickly as everybody else is.
People are quick.
Yes. It's amazing we
quick
can
to jump.
Perpetuate as a species.
Well, I think that's about it for today, huh?
Absolutely. We got to save some chatting for tomorrow.
Seriously. So, yeah, guys, don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave a comment about the podcast.
Yes.
Don't forget to check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/TeamOhana, where you can steer the direction of our podcast and our channel, really.
Yes.
Because we're putting up polls. We're having virtual meetups. April 22nd, I believe, is where we're at right now for our first big coconut meetup online.
Yes, Cocoa Convention.
The Cocoa Convention and CocoCon.
I'm gonna have to bring.
And,
I'm actually gonna go buy coconuts for that and put them on my wall.
I want you to get a coconut bra and put that on.
I'll see what I can do. I don't know where the hell I can find that.
Don't worry about it. We don't want to scare him off.
Hey, we'll get a whole different crowd.
Yeah, and you get the podcast a day early, except maybe for this week. But yeah, you get access to our watch-alongs, which we, when we watch these shows like Bad Batch, Mandalorian, and coming Secret Invasion and stuff like that, we'll give you the timestamp, and you'll be able to start your copy when we start us watching, and you'll be in the room with us, reacting and laughing and having a jolly old good time. Just like that.
Yes.
So, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notifications, leave some comments down there, whether it's constructive or good or whatever. Just keep it decent.
Keep it clean, keep it comics. That's what I always say.
There you go. But until next video,
yes.
mahalo.